Please don't kick me off this time. All right, guys, so let's get back to it here. We were talking about how our endocrine really is composed of a lot of different organs, and all those organs create hormones. Whether you're talking about your hypothalamus, your pituitary, your thyroid, as well as your parathyroid, as well as your adrenal glands and your pancreas, all those things really create hormones. Now, we can say, and we can try to memorize every single hormone and every single function, or we can try just to figure out the creation of the hormone and really what it does, how a tree starts and how the branches branch out. So we were talking about how your hypothalamus is responsible for creating what we call coffee beans, really. If you just don't even think about the pathophysiology of that, but think about the coffee bean that we drink at Starbucks or your local coffee shop, where does that coffee bean come from? It comes from a plantation for coffee beans, right? Now, that plantation could be in Costa Rica, it could be in Asia, it can be really anywhere. For our hormones themselves, specifically for the, let's say, insulin, that's created from your pancreas. And we already know that insulin lets sugar inside the blood, inside the cell itself, right? For your antidiuretic hormones, as well as the hormones that regulate your metabolism and the hormones that regulate your hunger and thirst, and even oxytocin that helps the cervix to contract, and the cervix to dilate during birth. Really, it all starts on the farm, we call it. The coffee bean farm, and that's your hypothalamus. Your hypothalamus creates these hormones, okay? So, whether it's for your autonomic nervous system, whether it's to stimulate hunger, to stimulate thirst, specifically your hypothalamus also creates antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin. Now, a lot of people get confused, so don't get confused. Because after these hormones are created, they go into a storage facility. And it's stored in your pituitary. And your pituitary really acts like the coffee bean distribution company. So it packs things up and ships it out. So your pituitary is broken down into two parts. You have your anterior pituitary, like your frontal pituitary. Like this is the anterior portion of my body. And you also have your posterior pituitary, like the posterior side of me. Cool? So I like to break these down into the anterior pituitary. Cool? And your posterior pituitary here. So let's talk about our posterior pituitary, because that is a little bit easier to understand. Let's see here. Let me erase my thyroid here. That's for my anterior. So if you guys remember when you were little kids, or if you have little kiddos, when little kids have to go to the bathroom, they never raise their hand and say, "I have to urinate, ma'am," right? Little kids, they say, you know, "I have to go pee-pee," right? "I have to go pee-pee, mommy," right? No? Okay, no. So yes, like, and you know, sometimes even I say I have to go pee-pee. So, your posterior pituitary is responsible for your what's called antidiuretic hormone, ADH. Now, if you just break down the word, anti-diuretic, it stops your body from releasing fluids. So your posterior pituitary here will actually communicate with your exit portals to your body. We know that the exit to your body in terms of fluid is your kidneys. And your kidneys let out the urine, right? The pee-pee. Cool? I want you to think of ADH now, anti-diuretic hormone, as a little turnstile. And you guys can remember when you went to the fair, if you go to the fair, you have to go to this little turnstile where you have to push the little push like the little rail, and it kind of counts you in before you get into the fair. Now, let's just act like this ADH, anti-diuretic hormone, is that turnstile. But what it does is it brings H2O and it puts it back in the body. Now that's a horrible pen there. It doesn't let water out. It reabsorbs water. H2O. No, you can't read that? Okay. H2O. So it keeps it in the body and not in the potty. So I want you to think of ADH, it's anti-diuretic. It's not letting your kidneys let H2O out. It's really just reabsorbing. It's like that turnstile that keeps all that fluid inside the body. So that fluid wants to go out, anti-diuretic hormone says nope, we're going to go right back into the body. So, what happens when ADH goes bad? What if we make too much ADH? What if we don't make enough ADH? And that's what we're going to break down with SI-ADH and diabetes insipidus. And I'm going to break it down really, really simple in the terms of C, in terms of like, well, we just have to see it. So let me just start the next video. It's awesome.